Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all this while you did not hear me all the time for last 7-8 minutes?
No, sir. That's why I was wondering either
Oh.
it's my phone's mistake or actually there's some problem.
Okay, okay. Now if I'm audible, okay, then I will have to start from the beginning.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. There is some problem with my earphone then. Okay. So, Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tatpardashina. So, Krishna says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So that is what Krishna is saying. And now I will read the purport. I just assume that the class is starting now because I was not audible for all these minutes. The purport is, the path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam 6.3.19 says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitutes the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him. In submission and service and inquiries, a bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So this we can understand is a very important shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, and it says that Tadvidhi pranipatena. So it speaks about, and the punchline of this shloka, or what we get from this shloka and why it is important, is given by Prabhupada in the purport in the last few lines. He says, by the agency of this shloka, Krishna is telling you should neither be a blind follower, neither should you be non-submissive. Insubordination also is condemned, and blind following also is condemned. So therefore he says that the principle here that Krishna is giving is what? He's saying that, and this principle is also repeated in the Vedic scriptures many times, right? And what is this principle? That spiritual life starts for a person when the person surrenders to a bona fide spiritual master. Now, what is the meaning of this word bona fide, bona fide, bona fide? The meaning of bona fide is authorized. The understanding is in this way. I want to post a letter. So I have to take a letter, I have to write it, I have to put a stamp on it, and I have to post it in a red color box which is authorized by the postal department. If I put it in any box, it will not go. Right? If I post it in any box, it will not go. Right? So therefore, what I need to do is I need to put it in a bona fide or an authorized one. So similarly, the guru should not be self-proclaimed, anyone just talking something which you like, There are some people who tap what we like and people say, oh, I like it so much. You liking is not the proof for his authenticity. His authenticity, the Guru's authenticity is proved from various factors. One, from his disciplic succession when he comes. Second, as Prabhupada said, how much the Guru is addicted to Krishna. Third, how strongly, grossly, and subtly the Guru follows the regulative principles. A Guru is called as Acharya. Acharya means one who teaches others or sets an example by his own acharan. Acharya teaches by acharan, by his own example. That is an Acharya. Right? Now, the next thing in this verse is very important. The beginning, Tat Vidhi Pranipatena. The word Vidhi makes the matter imperative. That is, it doesn't leave it to the choice of an individual whether he should or he should not, she should or she should not surrender to a spiritual master. It is not optional. It says that with the pranipatena, you have to do pranipat. You have to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. It is not a function of your will and wish and your fancies and whims. Right? No, you have to accept. There is no other way. And this is reverberated, this is often repeated in the Bhagavatam and many other scriptures. Like there are 9 brothers who are called as the Navayogendras. So they, are speaking. And they are speaking to whom? They are speaking to another devotee. What they are saying? Tasmad Gurum Prapadyaye Jnaneshu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Paracha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashravayam. It says, therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness, listen every word of this carefully. It says, therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation, by taking a formal diksha. The qualification of a bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberations and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be a bona fide spiritual master. Right? Now, this is given in Bhagavatam 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 21st verse. So now, having described the various miseries in this world, Krishna wants to now explain the solution to that. How to overcome those miseries. So therefore, he's using one very important word, prapadyate, means surrender. And surrender to whom? Surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, not to any Tom, Dick and Harry. So if you have heard carefully the translation of the shloka that I read, which the Navayogendras are telling Mimi, they are saying that if you want to be happy in life, there is no way of being happy in life by having money, name, fame, prestige. They can get you all those things, but they are not equal to happiness. They may give you a false sense of happiness. They may give you a false sense of security, but they are not. Then the proof of that is, if people who have this name, fame, all these things, are they happy? No. That is why they indulge in so many things. Right? So therefore, the parameter or one of the gross parameters of knowing whether a person is satisfied and happy or no is that he or she is not involved in any kind of illicit activities. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, nothing. And that is possible only when one surrenders and submissively surrenders to his guru, not only externally show religion, no. And then it says that one not only surrendered, but he should be inquisitive about Shreyas. What is Shreyas? Shreyas is long-term benefit. There are 2 words, Shreyas and Prayas. Shreyas is long-term benefit and Prayas is short-term benefit, but long-term it is harmful. Like for a person who's a student, he can do time pass now and he will feel that, okay, everyone else is studying, I am not studying, I am listening to music on phone or on the computer and I'm telling everyone that I'm studying. I'm imposting that I'm studying. He may feel nice. He may feel, oh, I am so intelligent. No one understands this. Nice. Everyone, and I can sleep nicely. I can hear music. But in long term, what will happen? He'll have problems. Whereas that is prayers. What is Shreyas? Shreyas is no, whatever is there, let anyone play, let anyone. But I will study. I will avoid hearing music. I will avoid doing time pass. then what will happen? Now he may have to work hard, but in the long term, what will happen? He will have a settled life, right? So that is the difference between Shreyas and Prayas. So when we choose to become devotees, it is hardship in one way. We have to follow the regulative principles. We have to go to class for at least once a week. And if we keep on going for 3-4 months and 1 week we don't go, people ask, Mataji, you didn't come for class last week. Prabhuji, you didn't come for class last week. Kya hua? So what people will feel? What people will feel? I am going. I am doing such a big favor. And these people are asking me, 1 week I did not go. And then people are asking me questions. After 2 years I have come to Bhakti, 5 years I have come to Bhakti, people are still asking me, chanting hui? 16 mala kiya? Kitne baje utha? So all these things, so these are all hardships probably, or at least externally. But then this is in the short term. In the long term, we will enjoy that. Right? I'll give a very gross and material example for that. What is that? When we have parents, then we don't care for them. But when we lose them, then we understand their importance. Isn't it? Then we understand their importance. That is the point. Right? Like, for those of you who understand Marathi to at least some extent, there is a proverb in Marathi. It says, आई असते तेव्हा तिची किंमत नसते आणि जेव्हा आई जाते तेव्हा कशालाच किंमत उरत नाही. Means when mother is there, we don't value her. But when mother is no more, then there is no value to anything in this world. Right? So it's a very, very deep statement. Though material, but it has to be carefully understood. So when our parents, just today, one of my friends told me that his father expired. So I was telling him that as long parents are not for life. So as long as they are there, we should serve them, love them, and get love from them. Not that we get angry with them for no reason. We shout at them because they don't understand what we are saying. Then we get mood off and all these kind of things. Because then if you don't value, then there is a problem. Right? Now, coming back to our topic, in the modern day, it is a fashion to have guru. They call it guru, Anything, any person is an expert in some field, they'll call him a management guru, they will call him a culinary guru, they will call him anything, they add a word guru. And then people accept gurus as a matter of fashion. They want gurus which are uptown. They have, fashionable ashrams in very, very remote and pleasant and picturesque areas or uptown areas, that they do it. And 99.99% of such gurus are fake. No, they don't follow anything. They don't follow any proper path. They just speak what people like. And people also like to hear because they don't want to get corrected. In today's world, the biggest problem is what no one wants to get corrected, right? Right? So, a guru, a person, any person, not a guru, a person who is not authentic, who doesn't have the capacity to take a person back to Godhead, or a person who cannot link any person to the disciplic succession, to the Guru Parampara coming from Krishna himself. I hope all of you must be having Bhagavad Gita with you, and if Bhagavad Gita as it is by Prabhupada. So on the 4th or 5th page of that, or a little later, I guess, there is a list given of disciplic succession. Right? It starts from Brahmaji, to whom the Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time. And from there it goes down till Prabhupada. Right? So that is the point that we should know. That is a disciplic succession. Similarly, there are disciplic successions coming in the Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya. So they are bona fide. Not that some guru is there coming, because my family likes him. Some gurus are, smoking chilim. Some are eating something. Some are, no, that is not a guru. So basically what? Guru means two things. He should be, if anyone is not doing that and calling himself guru, is a cheat. One, that he is supposed to be able to connect us to the disciplic succession and thereby take us back to God. He should be able to take the responsibility. If he doesn't do that, then there is a problem. Right? Okay. So the guru from the outside world, that's what they do. They are themselves fake. They are in no way bona fide. They are full number one in Prabhupada's words. Prabhupada said they are full numbers one. Because they don't practice sense control, the basic thing. So therefore, a guru should himself be a good disciple. So you should have a guru. He cannot be just born as a guru without any precedence, no. Right? So he should have a guru and he should have a disciple. That's how it is. But the problem is what? People in general are not interested in all these things. They say, who will think so much? We don't want to think. They want a guru for some, that's again for a false sense of security where someone will give Ashirwad, this, that. That's all. Like I don't call myself guru and I'm neither a guru. But because I wear dhoti kurta and go to some places, people think that I am. So one person, I had recently been to Jammu for a marriage. So I was in the house of this devotee whose house marriage was there. And then one neighbor comes and he says, I'm building a new house, come and see. He went, he shook me around the whole house and then said, thank you very much. Because he thinks that, if some dhoti kurta wearing person, so-called guru, comes to their house and he touches his feet to their house, then their house will be purified. It is not going to be. Yeah, if actually pure devotees come, they do that. But this is all again shortcut. Desiring to have devotees come to their house, very good. But then we should also have the desire to ourselves become devotees, to serve the devotees, to not serve our senses, to control our senses, to chant and to follow the four regulative principles. But people are not interested. They are only interested in prayers. Because Shreyas is what? Long term, which is difficult to do. And if you have heard, again I am repeating, again from the Bhagavatam that you are doing, what did it say? That if a person desires real happiness, then he must look out for a bona fide spiritual master. Because when you have a bona fide spiritual master, your bhakti starts. When your bhakti starts, you get linked to the parampara. When you get linked to the parampara, you are sure you're on the way back to Godhead. And only that way can make you happy. And the pranipat, it means more specifically complete surrender. A person should approach a spiritual master with complete surrender. And then what one should do? Tat vidhi pranipatena. Then second step is what? Pariprashnena sevaya. One should submissively inquire from the guru. Not challenging. How is that? How is this? No. Should be submissive. Right? And therefore, this purport that we just read could be taken as a masterpiece in the information about Guru and Shishya Parampara. Right? Okay. Now, unless and until he or she genuinely feels that I do not know anything, it is impossible to make spiritual advancement or first thing to take to spiritual. Because you go to people's homes, you go, no, we have, they will say. I got some relative few days back to my house. So that lady, I said, you take, I'm giving you a gift, Bhagavad Gita. No, I have another one, small one, it is there. And I'm giving you a big one, I said. She says, Bhagavad Gita to Bhagavad Gita, and a big or small, what difference it makes? I said, it makes difference. Because that Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure, which you have, it will have only the shlokas, at the most a translation, and the translation is not going to be good. So I'm giving you a big Bhagavad Gita, which gives you the translation, transliteration, and the purport. So take this and read this, and that other Gita, keep it in your puja room. Right? So just to elaborate this, that why we need to be surrendered to a spiritual master, Prabhupada would give a very simple example. He says, this example we also must have discussed many times. He says two students approach a teacher, a music teacher, they want to learn tabla. So he asks the students, both of them, he asks the first student, he says, do you have any previous experience in playing tabla? He says, no, I don't have anything. He says, okay, your fee is 100 rupees. And then he asks the other boy, he says, yes, what do you have any experience in tabla? The other boy says, yeah, I have been to a class for some time, say for 6 months or a year. So I have. So he says, your fee is 200 rupees. This boy says that this other guy who doesn't know anything, you are charging him 100 rupees. And me, who has already undergone training for 6 months to 1 year, you're charging me 100. Twice that amount, 200 rupees. Why? So he says, see, this boy who doesn't have anything, he's a clean slate. So I can teach him. But you have gone for training and you must have accumulated so many wrong things. So I have to correct them and then get you back. Right? So I have to get you corrected and then get you back. So therefore I am charging you more. So therefore people with a clean slate who do not have any misconceptions, people who do not have, impositions on their mind or impressions of their mind about false gurus, they're easier to become devotees and accept rather than the others. Because we have seen, people coming to spiritual life, who had, so-called these fake gurus and babas with them for years together, they carry on that. They don't do that, right? So therefore, if you really want to be humble and progress in spiritual life, then one is supposed to render menial service to Guru. So, like they say, no, this surrender, inquiry, and service, they are all intended for one thing, and that one thing is crushing or destroying the false ego. Right? In this world, no one wants to bow down to the others. No one wants to become submissive and ask inquiries. No one wants to serve others. Why? All this is ego. I am someone big. And those who do it, they do it externally. Like there is some big minister or someone, people will fall at his feet or her feet. They will take his name. They will say, iski jai, uski jai. Why? They will do it externally, not internally. The day this person is out of power, they will stab that person. Right? If going back or rather going to Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is Ishwar Puri. He pleased his guru, whose name was Madhavendra Puri, by doing menial service. And especially when Madhavendra Puri was in his last days, he would even, clean, he would do all the, he was bedridden, so all his activities, bodily activities, he had to do it on the bed. And Ishwari Puri would serve him, right? He would wash his body, clean his stool, everything. So this is the mood. Now we are not expected to do that, but we should know that, but we should know why we should do that. Now, Sri Rup Goswami, all of us, those of us who have gone to Vrindavan, we know that Sri Rup Goswami is the head of us, all of us. Vaishnavas or the devotees of Vishnu are also called as Rupanugas. Rupa Anuga. Rupa means Rupa Goswami and Anuga means follower. Now, someone will say, what kind of name is this Rupa Goswami? See, Goswami is the title. And why it is Rupa Goswami? Because in the spiritual world, he actually is Rupa Manjari. He's one of the Manjaris, close associates of Lord Krishna, Rupa Manjari. So when Rupa Manjari comes down to the material world, she becomes Rupa Goswami. So he was a man externally in this world. So, and he is called as the leading Acharya of the Vaishnavas. And therefore, Anugam is followers. So we are Rupa Anugas, the followers of Rupa Goswami. Right? So Rupa Goswami has indicated 64 quatums for sadhana bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So he says that there are many, many more, but I am indicating here in this book in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu only 64. Out of these 64, the first 20 are considered prime importance, right? So they are considered as the entrance gate to bhakti. Now again, out of these 20, 10 are called as pravritti, things to be done, and the next 10 are called as nivritti, those things which are to be avoided. So what are they? Let me list. Little technical, but we need to know technical. Damodar Prabhu, you please start taking attendance from today, because I'm seeing that people are hardly coming for classes. But then when we announce a yatra, the list is 70, 80, 100, 200. So as we have already said, only those who regularly attend class will come for yatra. No one else will come. So Damodar Prabhu, kindly start taking attendance from today. People are taking it very casually. Some people are coming, some people are not coming. This is not good, right? And those devotees who are using one phone and the whole family is doing, you should intimate Damodar Prabhu that he keeps that record. Okay, so the first 10 of the pravritti are as follows. It says Guru Pada Shraya, means taking shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. The second he says is Sri Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. It is accept initiation and instructions from a bona fide spiritual master. Then third he says Vishrambhena Guru Seva, serve the spiritual master with faith and most importantly with confidence. The next, that is fourth, he says Sadhu Vratam Vartanam, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Sadhu Vartanam. Then he says Sadharma Pricha. One must submissively inquire on dharma matters. Sadharma Pricha. Pricha means asking questions. Sadharma. Right? Now, going ahead, Sanatana Goswami was a learned scholar, but he approached lot. I'm just giving examples of different acharyas. We spoke about what how Madhavendra Puri and Ishwar Puri had as disciple. Madhavendra Puri was a guru of Ishwar Puri, and how he submissively served his guru. Then we explained how Rupa Goswami has explained the 64 qualities, out of which 10 are the pravritti and then 10 are nivritti. So we just listed a few of them. Now we are going to another Goswami whose name is Sanatan Goswami, who was a great learned scholar. But when he approached Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Varanasi, he approached him in the most humble way. Now this Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were brothers. They had another brother also, Anupam his name was. So anyway, so there were these Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. They were great scholars of Sanskrit. They knew Sanskrit, they knew Arabic, they knew Persian, and they knew in and out about the scriptures. And they would read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So this Sanatan Goswami, he approached Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fell at the feet before him and offered his obeisance Dandavat. And at that time, he was holding a straw in his mouth, Dante Trina Dhuri, holding Trina or grass in his mouth, which is considered as a sign of humility. Then, after offering obeisances, he started submissively inquiring from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also declared on his own the lack of qualification. Nicha Jati, Nicha Sanghi, Patita Adhamaku, Vaishnava Puri, Gunainu Janama. He says, I am from a low caste. He was from a Saraswat Brahmin family. But he says, Nicha Jati, Nicha Sanghi. I am from a low caste. I associate with lowly people. I am Patita. I am fallen. I am Adhama. He says, I am from a low caste. Though he was born from an an aristocratic family. He was a minister. But he's saying that. And he says, Nicha Sanghi. I have associated with very fallen soul because he was a minister of a Muslim king. This is Patima Adham. I am fallen and the lowest among mankind. But actually, if you see, Sanatan Goswami is none of these things. He was genuinely feeling like this, but because that was his humility. And he further says, he says, I do not know what is favorable and what is unfavorable for me. Just in village gossip, people consider me to be a pandit. So he says, people call me pandit. No, but I am not. And I am so foolish, he says, that I accept or I take on face value the talk of the villagers who proclaim me to be a scholar. Then he says, who am I? Ke ami? Who am I and why am I suffering? Tapatra, these threefold miseries of material nature. So how could I ever be successful in life? I do not know the goal of life. Neither do I know the method to achieve it. Right? And as Sanatan Goswami is asking, exactly like how Arjuna has asked in Bhagavad Gita, Karpadna dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta yashreyasya nishitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham sadhimam tam prapanna. Krishna, I am surrendering to you. You tell me what is best for me. So here we are seeing in the Leela of Sanatan Goswami that he has surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And seeing this submission in spite of Sanatan Goswami's scholarship, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased. So I'll continue till the lecture ends and we will continue this on Thursday, right? Because this is a very important topic and I would like to take it in detail, right? And Damodar, I'm reminding you again, please start taking attendance from today, right from the beginning till end. Right. So in seeing the humility and submissiveness of Sanatan Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replies, he says, you have been showered with the mercy of Lord Krishna. The threefold miseries, Tapatra, cannot touch you. You are an ocean of good qualities. Forget what you are saying. You are saying is all incorrect. You are a sadhu, and thus to maintain the strict discipline, you are making inquiries to, although you know everything yourself, you know the answers to all the questions you are asking. Now, if you go back to Bhagavatam, how does the Bhagavatam start? The sages of Naimisharanya, they were also very learned scholars. They began asking questions to Sutta Goswami. And then Sutta Goswami, what he tells them, he says, all the questions you have asked me are very nice, since they're all related to Krishna. Because only such inquiries are satisfying to oneself. So if one wants satisfaction in one's life by inquiring about, from Quora or from encyclopedia and all those things is not going to help us. For study purpose, if we need, it is one thing. But otherwise, it is not going to help us. Right? We may have answers to the biggest questions in the world. But what is the use? Because it's not going to satisfy us. There are people who do research and then they go crazy. Like Newton, he was in his laboratory one day and the bells were ringing in the church. So in the church, the bells are rung in different ways for different occasions. So they were the marriage bells, like someone's marriage is there. So he asks his assistant, whose marriage is there that they're ringing? He says, it is your marriage. So isn't it crazy in one way that you don't know that it is your marriage today? Okay. So coming back, the Sutta Goswami, what does he tell the sages of Naimisharanya? He says that all the questions you have asked are very nice because why? Because they're related to Krishna, and therefore we should also ask questions which are related to Krishna. Now, even though one may know the answers, one should ask these questions again and again to get answers from different perspectives. And for a genuine devotee, it gives pleasure to hear these answers. ऐसे नहीं कि मैंने पूछा था question मुझे मालूम है why to ask. Right? So that's the whole thing. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes ahead and tells Sanatana Goswami